Hello, we are live back on the ICCCon podcast stage with Jeffrey Cantor.
Oh my God, you got
yes!
my name right.
Redemption from last year.
It took you a year. 365
Oh, you don't understand.
days.
I did a Rocky montage of just saying your name from 2021 to 2022 so I can make sure that I didn't get it wrong.
Good.
That means you lived in his head rent-free for a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
For a year?
You say rent-free. Trust me. That cost me dearly.
And I am so glad that you agreed to come back so I can try to get some redemption.
Well, the $1,000 really helped.
Well, you know, just don't cash the check until 2065 and we'll be good.
Good.
That's when I'm planning on being rich. Thank you so much for coming back. How are you enjoying the con so far?
I'm having a great time. It's very different than last year. You know, last year was the first live event of pandemic.
Right.
And there was a quirkiness about everything. You know, people were a little edgy, and this year everyone's much calmer. The karma's great. The weather's been great.
No masks.
No masks, except, well, actually, you're at Comic-Con, so like shit ton of masks.
Yeah.
Like
Touche.
I see masks like all the time. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but they're yes, not pandemic masks, and
Yes.
And it's just got a great flow to it, and there's a great energy, and it was great to come back.
It definitely feels, I mean, last year, the pandemic, and we had all the protocols and everything, but it does feel like an old con again.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
and it's packed.
Yes.
And it's like super packed. Like there's almost twice as many people as last year.
so many.
So
So I want to talk about Daredevil.
that's
I hope-
awesome.
I hope
I
you
do
can.
too.
I hope you, but I want to talk about, how did you feel about seeing Charlie come back in Spider-Man No Way Home?
So, full disclosure.
Uh-oh. Do I need you to sign an NDA?
No, no.
Okay.
Like I talked to these people, and so I knew something was afoot. I didn't know what was coming up. So of course, you know, the scuttlebutt is rife already, and I'd heard. Not from him. I mean, other people
Right.
had seen it, and so it was. By the time I saw it, it was already out. But
It was very heavily rumored.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised. You know, I'm not surprised really by anything that's happened. I'm happy about it. You know, when we were first told it was canceled, we knew very well that it had nothing to do with the show. It had to
Right.
do with the relationship of Disney and Netflix. And business is business. You know, it was disappointing because we were all set to go in
Right.
February. Like we chomping at the bit, ready to go. Things were written.
The way it ended was just, I mean, give me the next season.
Yeah, and so so that was hard. And as an actor, you got to move on. You got other stuff you got to do.
Right.
I did other stuff, which is great. But then the Save Daredevil people really started pushing. I don't think that's why it changed, but it sure didn't hurt because
Right.
it really kept it out there. And I was in touch with the other actors. I was in touch with Joe Quesada a little bit, and there was never a sense that there was no chance. It was just nobody could really talk about it because they didn't really know what the time frame was going to be between COVID, between whatever deal that Netflix and Disney had. There were super complications that are way above anybody's pay grade, including theirs. And so I think all the dust had to settle. And once the dust settled, all of a sudden they could start making plans. And I think they've been throwing Easter eggs at everybody, like frickin' cannonballs. Like they're throwing
Right.
them at our heads. And so I think, every time something happens, it just makes the possibility of a reboot with the original cast much more likely. And that's like awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say because now you're picking up a new fan base now that they're all moved over to the Disney streaming. So you never know. Like you might not need a reboot per se.
I think they won't. I think, and this is just me,
Yeah.
a
Right.
human, not
Right.
with any inside information. But I can't imagine Disney. They were whatever relationship they had with Netflix. That was a relationship that included Netflix decisions. Now they don't have to include those. And so I
yeah.
think it'll free up Marvel probably to explore more their own agenda than what Netflix agenda is, whether it's the number of episodes or whatever agenda they may or may not have. And I'm not saying they had one. I just
Right.
If you're a single unit with a direction, you're going to be able to accomplish that vision more easily. So I think there might be, but I think the goal is you don't bring Charlie and D'Onofrio back,
Right.
without wanting people back. I mean, you want it to smell the same and look the same. So
Right.
I'm hopeful. I'm certainly hopeful.
I'm glad. Actually, I'm actually glad that it's moved over to Disney Plus because Moon Knight that's come out. Because Daredevil is one of the more adult, more like shows for Marvel when it was on Netflix. And Moon Knight to me is kind of just like Daredevil, so I feel like they could pick up with the kind of content that Daredevil had, like right as the story.
Yeah,
continued.
you know, and but to your point, I don't know your name.
His name is Matt.
Matt. So, my bad.
Hey,
So now
that's
it's your
Matt.
Just getting my own back. You'll be in my head this year, Matt. Which is interesting because Matt's in Daredevil.
Yes.
Interesting. So meta. Anyway, what you were saying though about a new fan base? I mean, we came out in 2015, and I know as a parent that there are certain age groups that this is not right for.
Yeah.
And those kids have now all aged up. And so
Yeah.
now kids who were too young in 2015 are now like smack in the beginning of the Daredevil demographic.
Absolutely.
And I think you're absolutely right. And I think there, you know, it's sort of making lemonade out of lemons. I think Marvel has found a real positive thing to happen with all of it. So now people, I can tell you, even here, people are saying, you know, I watched it for the first time on Disney, and now my kids can see it. You know, they are building a fan base that will be ready for a new version of it for sure.
I remember when I was in the theater when Spider-Man No Way Home, the first time I saw it, and when Charlie came on screen, the theater lost it.
Yeah.
Like, just lost it. They were so excited. Like, you would have thought he was another Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was ecstatic for that, you know, yes, I want Daredevil back. If there's any of the Netflix shows, I want Daredevil back. It was the best of the best. And I think the audience during that movie was, the applause that they gave Charlie was the same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty amazing.
we want this back.
And it put the Daredevil show in the same universe.
Yes,
the MCU.
that was the other
That
thing.
was like the reassurance. Now we can go back and do more with this character. And Daredevil presents another demographic is a disabled hero.
Yes.
And you don't get very many disabled heroes these days.
No, you know, it's funny you say that. So when I was at Comic Palooza a couple years ago, somebody raised the question about Iron Fist. And of course, I'm not in a position to answer that. But what I did say was that whatever you can say about Marvel shows, these shows have shown a disabled superhero, a black superhero, a woman who's clearly got mental illness, and she's an alcoholic. You know, did they maybe drop the ball a little bit initially? It's hard to tell. They were trying to stick to the origin, and so I don't want to throw them under the bus on that because, you know, they still push that envelope more than any other series has ever done. I think to your point, you know, Deborah Ann's husband, EJ, has got an ocular issue, and he has been going blind, and so he's been doing fundraisers as he walks, you know, miles and does these, you know, these treks, and so then somebody actually came to yesterday in a wheelchair and was talking exactly about that.
Yeah.
And so I think you're absolutely right. You know, it opens a huge number of doors for that demographic for sure.
Absolutely. I'd like to jump into your music. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, you have musicians. You know, up here and in the audience. Can you tell us a little about the Con Men and what you do specifically?
Sure. So, okay. So it's a little awkward for me to be here in Nashville, which is like the music capital of the United States, and talk about me playing music, because Con Men is a joke, obviously. A great shirt, by the way. I did the logo. I don't know if you can see this.
Right here.
I did the logo. So, so part of the joke is, like, I'm not really a musician. I'm a faker. I love doing it. It's a hobby. It's a great hobby.
Hey, you're a faker till you make her.
Well, that's what it says. Fake it till you make it on the bottom of the shirt. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. So, but Lee, so what happened was, I've been playing music as a hobby for many years. I had an a cappella band briefly in Scotland. So I love it. It's like, it's great. It's my hobby. So I came down, and John Pushkar, who works with Michael, said, you know, Lee's going to play, and you can bring your harmonicas, you can maybe sit in and do a couple songs. So last year, we did a couple songs together, and then when he and I were just singing, like I was just doing when I almost missed the podcast. So we were just outside singing, and last year, Michael's sitting like up in the corner, and Lee says, and I was just singing along with Leo, singing harmonies and playing harmonica, but some of his own stuff. And Michael's like, so Lee says, everybody, Jeffrey Cantor, and Michael stands up and goes, "You sing?" and so the next thing I know, so then Lee invited me with some of the musicians that were there last night and some other of his friends, Nashville musicians, all so terrific, really great musicians. And I got invited to this jam. All right. First of all, it was Father's Day. I am old enough to be most of the kids in the band's dad, like literally. And
you're only as old as you feel, man.
I said literally. I didn't say I feel that way. So yes, I agree with you. But I it was like one of those moments you go, okay, sure. Like what the heck? And I made it into a long drive, and I went down to Kentucky, and we played music for 2 days, and I cooked food for 2 days, and then that's my other hobby. And then stopped off and saw my cousin, and then went home. And the next thing I know, like Lee's like, we should make a band, and so we picked a set list, and all of a sudden he gets these guys, and oh god, I forget his name, the guy in the slide last night, he plays at the Grand Ole Opry. So this group of musicians, they're just sick, and so they rehearsed together. Last night was the first time we ever played together ever.
Really?
Yeah, we had never played the songs together, and Constantin is like this crazy guitar player, and he's a music guy in California. He's got a studio.
Right.
So they're all way better musicians than I am. I love it as much as they do. I'm honored that they let me sing with them, and I do have more balls than most of them because I'm only to do something like I should not be here. But that said, like we didn't suck. It was really, really fun. And when you have a great band, you really get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Get away with a whole lot. And so we're putting the band together, and the goal really ultimately is Steve's girlfriend's going to be our manager, and we're going to get some swag. We're going to make up some shirts and some hats because it's a great logo because I made it. And do you have 2 minutes? You have 2 minutes. I have all the time in the world. Anyway,
we're on your time.
I know. So then but we're gonna try to promote ourselves to other cons.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that because Steve goes to a lot more cons than I do. So when he goes, he's gonna say, by the way, do you want a band? Because the con man could come. And we've been already talking to Michael about next year about doing something at Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Because it's a small venue, and letting the VIPs sort of have a couple hours there with us.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So
What's your favorite song to sing?
Well, I like the mashup of Feeling All Right into You Can't Always Get What You Want. That's a mashup that my band used to do up in Jersey. And it's an 11-minute song where everybody gets to have a lead, and I get to sing, and you get harmonies. And so that's kind of, I just dig that. I like singing though.
I'm all about harmonies. Like when you said you were in an a cappella group, so I would know that you know a lot about the harmonies. Would y'all be willing to play Feeling Satisfied next year by Boston?
Okay, so here's my thing about Boston.
Uh-oh.
No,
Boston
don't
Sticks,
do it.
Boston Sticks, Kansas, Journey. I can't sing those songs. Do you hear how low my voice is? Those songs are very high.
I have a pretty low voice, but I can sing.
Yeah,
pretty
but
high
I
register.
can't, and also it's not really my jam. So you can pick another song.
Rush? Are you kidding me?
I will also not be doing Rush.
No, I agree.
I mean, I think we're gonna update the set list a bit. I mean, it was really old rock and roll.
Yeah.
And we're gonna throw in some fun stuff. I don't think the prog rock is where I'm gonna live.
All right.
But that's me.
What other instruments do you play?
I just play the harmonica
That's
and
it?
sing. Yeah, and I only fake the harmonica. I only play the harmonica. Do you know Dominic Chianese? He was Uncle Junior in The Sopranos. So he and I did a play together a really long time ago, right when my son was born. It's like a really long time ago. And he plays guitar, and I would sing harmonies with him. And then he's like, "You should get a harmonica." I was like, "I got a harmonica. I got like one harmonica. I got a G." And so we would play, and that's when I started playing harmonica. I never took any lessons. I should. I won't, but I should. And so I just do it, but I have a pretty decent ear, and I have to ask people, like, what key is this? And what's the cross harmonic for that? I'm just starting to learn like that.
Yeah.
So I'm paying a little more attention. There was actually a guy in New York I wanted to study with.
This guy can sit down in front of a piano, and you put music in front of him and be like, "Hey, play this for me." And he'll go, and then just the most beautiful.
hear it.
He has the ear too.
So do you want to play with us next year?
I would definitely play with you next year.
All right, so why don't we have that conversation?
I will.
You want to play with
It
us
drives
next
me
year?
crazy.
And we'll do it live.
Why?
But that is no. I only brought it up because that is something that not many people think about it though. That's something that not many people can do. Like,
Right.
just here, play this, and you just you can hear it and then play it.
Right.
He does the same thing with the piano. I'll be like, hey, play me this.
He
And he'll be like,
wins.
no.
He wins. What I can do pretty quickly, like so, and I don't think that I'm unique in this. You know, I hear a song. If I want to sing it, it's probably because I know it. Like I kind of know it. You know, even if I don't know all the words, I know the song. You know, and I have so I can sing a song pretty quickly. And like Lee will do something original. I can almost figure out what words he's going to say and sing harmonies with him. So but there are people way better than me. Like it's again hobby. This is Jeffrey's hobby. Jeffrey is not a musician. He's a musician hobbyist, kind of like other hobbies. Like
This is a hobby for us.
there we go. But I do love it. I do love it. And to get to do it here and to get appreciated here. So like, for instance, if I'm playing at the synagogue in Rockland County, like everybody likes, like, duh, of course you like it. Because it's like, you like everything. But, you know, to be liked here, I mean, it really felt like the stakes were higher. And also I found out I'm glad I found this out after the fact, that like, there were music people in the freaking audience. There was press in the audience. Like, what the, can I say the F word? What the heck? You know?
I mean, we ain't call Music City for nothing.
No,
man.
I know, but
they
this,
come out of nowhere.
So thank God I found out after, because if I had known beforehand, I would have said, okay, have a great time, guys, because I will ruin it for you.
Jeff, I love every year that you come. You are so fun for us and for the con.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you
pleasure.
I hope
Thank you
come
for
back
being
next year.
live.
Thank you for coming on our live podcast.
It's live.
There's still some time left. Come down, get an autograph, get a picture with him.
I'm in the hallway just off the lobby.
Down here at ICCCon. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
This summer, saddle up in Smashville as the Music City hosts the hottest party of the summer, WWE SummerSlam Nashville. For the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a whole lot of kick-ass. WWE SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th. Tickets on sale now.